And he's going to talk about what PropTech Farm is doing and plans to do. And it's all about PropTech creates impact for a sustainable tomorrow. So Fredrik, thank you very much.
Thank you, Simon, and hello everybody. My name is Fredrik Bergman, so I'm the CEO and co-founder of PropTech Farm. Many of you know me from the days at the Accrete. We were joining Simon and the team back in 2008 in San Francisco. I think we hold the best after parties every day. That's what we were famous for. So I've been working in this industry for over 20 years. And what we are an entrepreneurial early stage VC, investing into the next generation of founders, people who believe in the PropTech area. And we are coming out of Stockholm, even though I've been living here in Asia for 20 years. Our base is from Sweden. And as you know, Stockholm is actually, by capita, the largest city in the world who creates unicorns after Silicon Valley. So it's a very good, ecosystem in Stockholm. We generate a lot of startups, and our goal is to accelerate PropTech. So we started out in Sweden, and now we are planning to expand our network on a global basis. So we have today the first fund up and running in Sweden, but we have done investments also here in Asia. And our plans now with this network here and around the globe is to expand this network and to become even larger than we are today. In the team today, we have a strong team already. We have real estate experience, we have VC experience, we have tech experience, and a lot of entrepreneurial experience. And as you can see, we have done a lot of different transactions together. So our goal is to help the startups, not only with funding, but also how to grow and develop the business. And I added one slide after these 2 days here, the definition, how we see PropTech, because a lot of focus here is, of course, around marketplaces and online marketplaces, but we see PropTech a little bit larger. It's very close to fintech, it's contact, it's smart cities, and a lot about sustainable cities and intelligent solutions. Our main focus is on software, data, smart homes and smart cities, energy tech, and of course, marketplaces, and we hope to invest into construction tech. So far, we have done 12 investments. We sold one and we merged one, so we're holding 10 investments today. So it's a little group of smart city solutions, helping us how we live, how we eat, how we store things, for example. And then we have 2 SaaS platforms. One is property management system, and one is an energy-saving platform. And then, of course, we have the transaction and marketplaces section. So I'm just quickly going to run through some of these platforms. PropStreet is a commercial platform, a matchmaking platform. So it's a hybrid of a marketplace, matchmaking, and a platform like a dating site, because the commercial business today is very closed. Many commercial sales is happening in the secret world. There is a big building for sale in Stockholm. No one knows about it. Just a few people around them, around the agency. So this platform is built like a combination of LinkedIn and matchmaking. And so far, we have done transactions for over 5 billion euros through the platform. And now we're monetizing with subscription and also commission on this platform. It's a very interesting company now on 5 markets and in growing out in Europe, because it grows like LinkedIn. It grows out into the European market as we speak. Another company is Find Your Space with Xnomad. And Xnomad is a company, a marketplace for retail stores. So there is a lot of empty retail stores around the world. And this company is now focusing on 6 markets in Europe. And what we do is that we go in and block rent short term leases in these cities. One example is Shein, the largest, I think, clothes company in the world. It's an online brand, but they love to be offline for certain periods. So we did a big campaign with them during the autumn, where they went to Paris, Stockholm, Madrid, Berlin, etc., and then sold a lot of clothes and built up the brand. Another lovely company is Lazudi, as we heard Costa before, a company that we believe really strong in, and I think Costa was a little shy. I think he beat the budget by 50% last year, so it was a really good year. We think this platform and this way of working with agents is something that's going to go very heavily in this region. Fourth is it's a platform. It's a real estate portal software helping agents with listing management. So supplying out to all the portals, but also for the agents to have, they can start tomorrow and they have directly thousands of listings to sell and co-broke with other agencies. And Jostein and Yuri is here. So we are based here in Bangkok, and hopefully we can get this business up and rolling in the coming years. The last company I would like to tell you about has nothing to do with marketplaces, but this is a company I hope you will see soon in your city or a similar company, because this is a very, very clever solution. So Vinden, it means attic on top of the house. It's a storage solution where they come to your home, they pick up your things, they photo everything, and they make a 3D digital copy of it. So you have everything in your app, so you know you have a sofa, you have your photo albums in this case, you have your bicycle, etc. in the system. When you want something back, you just click on the sofa and they will deliver it back to you. And if you want to sell it, you can click as well, and it gets sold through an online platform. So that's maybe where the connection is with a classified. But the clever thing with this is that you can save a lot of space in the properties. So we have done now 2 new developments in Gothenburg, where the developer takes away all the storage for the tenants in the house, and they use Vinden app instead. And what Vinden can do for the environment is that they can maximize storages. So they storage a bed in one storage. They send things that they know you're never going to call back very far away, sometimes in underground shelves and so on. So they can maximize the storage, but you always see everything in your phone. And I think Georg was talking about this the other day. The PropTech market is growing rapidly. So we see great opportunity to grow our VC and follow and develop the companies around the globe. Now I was thinking to talk about a little bit more important thing maybe for all of us. It's the CO2 emission and what we can do to save maybe the planet in the future. As you know, real estate is the biggest asset class in the world. It's also responsible for 40% of all the CO2 emissions. 70% of that is coming from how we live, how we operate the building, and 30% is coming from the construction of the buildings. We believe that with a lot of PropTech innovations, we're going to reduce the emissions a lot, and we have now, as a goal going forward, big focus on finding attractive business models. Of course, we still have to, all of us have to make money, but attractive business models that help us to reduce this CO2 emission. So let's start to walk the talk and implement this software. So we have so far invested in smart energy management system that helps the energy companies to reduce the emission. There is a lot of innovative solution with smart cities, how we live, how we eat, etc. And Vinden, for example, is changing the way we store things. And it's not only to reduce the carbon emissions, it's also, as you know, this lovely world of ESG that you all have to follow soon. It's also the quality of life, how we're living, etc. One very interesting example is our company Utilifeed. So Utilifeed started 3 years ago, and now having 15 energy companies as a client. And what they're doing, they have built a clever energy system that reduces, for a normal Swedish energy grid for district heating, as we most of the time in Sweden have very cold. They're saving a lot directly in emission decrease 2,000 tons of CO2s. And they do this by analyzing data from weather, from different data points around in Sweden. And then these big energy machines can reduce the power coming out to the buildings, because they can also measure how much energy the building has today. And right now we're doing a very large pilot in Saudi Arabia with district cooling. And it looks like this is going to be one of the solutions that they will use to build this line. So knock on wood, and this company you will see a lot if they succeed to implement that in Saudi Arabia. Then I was thinking, what can you do? What can the online market do? What can you do from a marketplace perspective? What can you help everybody to reduce the CO2 emission? As I'm coming from the virtual tour perspective, I still saying the same thing as some of your presenters before. Use more and better images. Use virtual tours on the portals. And then, of course, it's a lot about information. Encourage, for example, where in the city should you live with electric vehicles, charging stations, and then display energy efficiency. Something that's going to happen, I believe, in the whole world, or big part of the world, is going to come a lot of new regulations regarding energy and energy measurements. In Europe today, there is already a law that you have to present this. So, for example, in the Lasudi case, it will look like this. You will have to post what's the building energy efficiency rating in this building. And if you start to doing this and maybe grade the ones who have A and B higher on your portals, we will actually have more transactions and more knowledge about that you have to save energy. And as I mentioned, of course, use my little baby Diacrete more, or Matterport, or of course, here today, one of the sponsors, AutoEnhance, even more, so you can get more information and wasting all these people that are traveling to a home, which is actually not the home they want. We also have Eric here in the house who haven't presented, but in Holland, they're now implementing a sustainable advice scans. So you actually scan the house, and you get information about if we do this and this, should we, with the windows, for example, how much energy can be saved. So there is a lot of tools coming, and I hope, even if we talk a lot about transactions, we talk a lot about business models, I hope we're also going to focus on this going forward. So the question is, and that maybe you can have in the questions section, is what can we do more? What can be done from online marketplaces, and what can we do more to target this goal going forward? So the purpose of PropTech Farm is to deploy funds, of course. We want to invest more. We want to get more money. We're also raising funds now, so we want to deploy investment for a sustainable future. So I hope you all help me on this and start to think about this, not only the money and the transactions. Thank you.
Fredrik, thank you. Okay, now I've got some questions which we should bring up. First of all, are there any working PropTech solutions that address issues such as pollution in Southeast Asia? Any working PropTech solutions?
In Southeast Asia?
To address pollution?
I am not aware of one.
No. But if you know of any? Oh, wait, is that a GPT-4?
Is anyone in the room?
We should ask GPT-4 for the answer. We'll see what they come up with. Okay, can you give a little more detail on how Ex-Nomad worked with Xi'an?
Yeah, so they are online, as you're writing there as well. They are an online shop, and we have a lot of online stores actually that want to come down to the ground and show the consumer the products. So what we did in Paris and Stockholm and Madrid, etc., we rent the space for 3 months, decorate it, and they do a big campaign online, and then driving campaigns to the stores. And the sales went up tremendously, and they have campaigns on discounts and so on for the online. So.
Okay. So I think there's some interesting questions we should explore, and Dimitri's put one up there, is what is the major thing you look for in a company when you invest?
The business model is, of course, very important. The people behind it, and to see that there is a very strong growth potential in the 3 to 5 years. And one thing that we often forget is how it's going to be distributed, and how are you going to make it, so in the longer run. That's also something we look very careful about.
Okay. Now you've talked here about, aren't the tech-powered storage companies struggling to keep up in the US amid rising rates and interest? Why is the model still interesting to you? Last question.
Powered storage.
Tech-powered storage. Well, basically, it's the tech-enabled storage units, rather than just buying one with the roller door. And
yeah, but the problem with those are, of course, they are very nice to have. The storage, what's called
short-term.
Yeah, the storage companies. But I don't know how many have had a problem. You rent a storage of 12 square meter, and then you put a lot of things in there, and then you never see the things again. Yep. Because it's impossible to know. But
what they're saying is that they're looking for the tech-powered one, similar to the one Vinden
that
you talked about. And the claim here is that they're struggling in the US because of interest rates.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know if they're struggling, because in Europe they are not struggling. Vinden is growing tremendously fast, and so we believe at least in the European market for Vinden today, that might be of an answer.
Do you track and decrease PropTech Farm carbon trace, decrease traditional investment paper docs, and so on?
We have started. So we started this year, and to track and focusing more on this. I went to another conference and got aware of a lot of these things. I mean, my drive have always been to make more money and to grow the companies.
Okay.
But I'm getting more and more aware of what's going on, and so I want to help.
Right. So one of the things that I think is interesting is with what you're trying to achieve with PropTech Farm is there's this sort of a bit of a gap in the PropTech space between early stage funding and once they get really big, you'll find your money, right?
Yeah.
And you're super accelerating. But you're targeting sort of this in-between stage. So when you think about investing, what are you like, Series A? Where are you coming in?
So far, we're going in when the company have proven track records, they have clients, they have revenue coming in, and then a team, the first team in place, so we can see that this team is going to work. Are they
pre-revenue, or they've got a bit
of
revenue?
No, they have revenue, definitely.
Yeah. Any sort of benchmark levels you think about?
No, I think I got that question yesterday as well. Depends on if it's a SaaS model, the sizes of the revenue is coming much, much later compared to direct transactions, so it's from case to case.
Now, and how are you sourcing the opportunities? And are they coming to you? Are you proactively going?
We are sworn by opportunities, to be honest. It's from our LinkedIn, it's from websites, it's from partners, it's from being here. It's a lot of companies coming.
So how do you then analyze these opportunities? If you're getting 10 opportunities a day, how do you start to?
Right now we have 2 people, investment managers, working nearly day and night, complaining there's too many leads, and that's of course that's the tricky part too. Okay. So we don't miss something, but at the same time.
Yeah. Now, when I look at your current portfolio, you have sort of quite a diverse range of. It's still all PropTech, but it's a diverse range. And now with this fund, you're starting to focus in more on the sustainability element of these businesses. Okay. So when you look at a business like Vinden, how would you think about Vinden from a sustainability perspective?
in many ways, they have the efficiency of the storage. You know, they can have a 12-meter high storage for someone. We can collect things. All the cities in the big cities now are swarmed by these transportations going back and forth. The company actually came from a guy called Sebastian, who was part of a company called Budbee, a delivery company. But he realized that they always go back empty. So they send boxes to homes, but then they go back empty to the store again. So we are using this existing network. So in that, we're saving also the transportation and cars and so on.
Okay. So then, when you think about raising money, I don't remember if you said how much you're raising on the slides.
No,
no, you didn't.
No.
Do you want to talk about how much you're raising?
Yeah, our goal is to raise up to 100 million euros.
Okay.
So we have raised 20 million euros so far, and the goal is to raise up to 100 million euros.
Okay. And then, what sort of geographies are you looking to invest in?
Our main, as today, is Europe and Southeast Asia, mostly because of our background here and also the European market.
Okay. And what geographies are you attracted to?
There is a lot of attractive market. I mean, you know, Europe is still, I think, very, very interesting because of all the new tech around energy, PropTech related stuff. So I think Europe is very high on our agenda.
Okay. And you've got a lot of opportunity there. You have a lot of investment opportunities in Europe.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, and then the other question is, how do you think about investing in new versus following on the existing investments? What are the key drivers for those decisions?
Right now, we are focusing with the first structure. We only invest in the old and follow on. Yeah.
Follow on, and then the new fund is going to then clearly invest in you.
Yeah.
And then you'll find the right follow on.
So you have a period of investment, and then you do follow-ons for the developments and so on, and the company that goes up. And if they're not so developing the right way, maybe we will not follow on. So.
And then the last sort of question around sort of how this all works, because I think talking to people who run investment funds is always super interesting. How hands-on do you get in these investments?
So far, with 10 companies only, we are very hands-on. I remember you asked me this question in Madrid as well. No, in Miami as well.
I don't remember the answer.
No. The answer is that, of course, it's going to be challenging if you have 50, 60 companies to be hands-on. But then we have to build out the team. I have Niklas Ståhlberg here, joining in the Southeast Asia, very experienced entrepreneur. Because we want to be an entrepreneurial-driven VC, contra maybe the more corporate VCs and so on. We want to be with the entrepreneurs. We've been going through all these crises, 2008, 2012, et cetera, and the one we maybe are in now in Europe. So we are very hands-on on helping the entrepreneurs to develop.
Right, so the key, there are a lot of funds around doing various investments. I had someone today come up to me and say they're thinking of putting together a PropTech fund for, where are we, Southeast Asia?
Yeah.
Okay, and I don't know the angle they're coming from because I don't know the background, but it might be from a financial angle, right? Raise the money, deploy the money, track the money, exit, return, okay? I would assume that's a relatively light touch environment. So for you, hands-on is not sitting on a board, it's actually sitting side by side with management on the appropriate issues.
Yes, but then we are fortunate, for example, in the Lasudi case, we have Ben Neves, who is hunting Costa and Neil all the time. So there we don't have to be as hands-on. So it's from case to case depending on who is the main leads and so on.
Right. So that always leads to a scalability issue because you can't clone yourself.
Nope.
Okay, and we chatted with Sean earlier today, who clearly has far more hands-on experience across all the investments, and it does lead to a lot of challenges. So how have you thought about structuring yourself to provide that level of expertise and guidance for the investments, especially when you've got Europe, Southeast Asia, and you probably go into other markets over time?
It is to get more and more people in the ecosystem. I mean, partners, general partners, advising partners, etc., into the system who have similar experience or maybe specific knowledge in some areas. And we have that team already in Scandinavia, as you saw. So we have Samir sitting in some boards, etc., with his expertise in real estate, because they need to, if you're working towards commercial real estate.
And the last question, courtesy of Javier, who can't spell, is how can someone get involved in investing?
Give me the money. No, but seriously, we're gonna finalize the IP now, and then we can send it out in this community, of course, if you're interested in investing.
Yeah, and by the way, this is not meant to be a pitch
No.
for the PropTech Farm, just to be clear, because I'm interested in how they're thinking about the future. And I think sustainability, carbon emission, etc. We can all talk about investing in more portals and transactions and so on. That's great, and I think that's incredibly important in making the industry more efficient and effective. And in and to itself, the more you digitize the transaction, the less you got people roaming around in cars and tuk-tuks and whatever, right? So it helps indirectly carbon footprints. But I also think it's important that we start as an industry, from a PropTech perspective, to think about the application of technology to not only making day-to-day tasks simpler, but also reducing carbon emission and anything else that can save the planet.
Yeah, and
for my
feel more
grandkids.
comfortable also how we live, etc. There's a lot. I mean, we have seen the ECG is also about environmental and social and how we live. The apps that many of these companies have is already in a good direction. So
Yes.
it's good.
So excellent. Fredrik, thank you very much for sharing that. Super interesting topic, and good luck with the capital raise. Thank you.